Game Chat 1, episode 73, coming at you right about.
Welcome to Game Chat with Bwana, your source for gaming news and reviews. Now, here's Bwana McCall.
Game Chat Bwana. Game Chat Bwana, episode 73, coming at you live. We're live at twitch.tv/Bwana and live.Bwana.tv. I'm glowing today. I'm a little bit glowish. I'm glowing in a brown hue with golden lights coming out of my face. I'm like the freaking sun with the Raisin Bran things. 2 scoops of raisins on the reason. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, so pleasing. Game Chat 1 is where we talk about video games. We don't talk about cereal, although right now I have a craving for said yummies. Raisin Bran would go good right with Game Chat 1. We talk about the last 7 days. The last 7 days of gaming news. We scour the internet. We try to find the best stories on the web. And we go to our favorite sites, our favorite bookmarks, and we try to find stories that you will want to tell your friend. You know, you and your friend are standing at a bus stop, and you just look at him and you go, "How long have we known each other?" And he looks at you and he goes, "About 6 days." "Yeah, man, 6 days. I have the best story in the world to share with you." "Really?" "Yeah, man. Did you know that Notch wears a hat?" And he'll go, "What?" And then you both subscribe to Game Chat with Bwana because you want that similar experience right here at this podcast. We do this every Monday night at about 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, if I can get my time right in my clock brain thing. 6 p.m. Eastern. We try to appease the European people, all you guys over there across the ocean that have like all the time backwards, because over here the time is correct, but you guys got it all backwards over there. So we have to accommodate all the backwards time people because your sun is wrong. And ours is right, because we have correct clock. Game Chat 1. We talk about the last 7 days of gaming news, and then after that, we talk about what the stories that you guys submit over on our forums at Bwana.tv/forums, and we go over those. So you guys augment the stories that I bring up, and then after that, we have what's called Title Time. Title Time is when you guys come up with snazzy titles, and I really enjoy the titles you guys come up with. Very fun time in Game Chat 1, very interactive. We vote on the titles, we pick the best one, and Nicholas Fun Stuff wins every week. Game Chat 1, episode 73, coming at you.
Game Chat with Bwana would not be possible without the support of our corporate partners. Twitch.tv, Wirecast, YouTube, and 123 Systems. Thank you all for your support of Game Chat with Bwana.
Yes, little firefall stuff right there. For our first story, we're going to talk about G4. G4, and it's a sad day. For the 20 of you out there that still watch this channel on cable television, G4 has decided to cancel the 2 of the longest running shows that they've had in quite a long time. 2 very long running shows. And I use that term, loosely because G4 was formerly Tech TV before they were kind of acquired, merged, if you will. And a lot of us grew up with Tech TV. And that's where a lot of us were introduced to personalities such as Leo Laporte and Kevin Rose and Morgan Webb and Chris Perillo and all these different TV personalities that came on and talked about tech stuff. Well, there was a show called X-Play that was running, and it was one of the few shows on TV that actually talked and reviewed video games. And it wasn't like, like on CNN where they're talking about the latest violent video game causing some shooting somewhere. It wasn't that kind of coverage. They were covering the actual games themselves, giving them ratings, and gamers across the world would watch it to argue, because there was a high probability you did not agree with their reviews, but it was still quality programming because it talked about games, and we like to talk about games. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this show called Game Chat with Bwana. X-Play was a very popular show. I actually really liked it. It was one of the few shows on G4 that still ran that I would occasionally catch. And it's sad to see it go, that G4 has finally decided to cancel X-Play and Attack of the Show. Now, Attack of the Show was a little bit too ADD for me. I'm what you call old. I'm no longer young, like a majority of you out there. So I can't follow sometimes the Attack of the Show. It's a little bit too youthy for me. You know, I need my chicken soup and my rocking chair and on the porch, and I need to listen to some banjo music, you know, a cappella, singing some old Willie Nelson tunes. You know, I'm kind of old that way. Attack of the Show was a little bit too ADD for me, but X-Play I still was able to enjoy. I'm a little bit sad because this is, for me, I think this is the end of the G4 is what we know it, because it used to be the butt end of a joke. You know, G4 was like, oh man, Tech TV was so awesome. G4 sucks. And then you go watch, you know, Attack of the Show. But these two shows were like the last remaining remnants of, I don't want to say Tech TV, but what I remember of Tech TV. If you ask anybody about G4 and the network and, you know, what they remember, what they like, and what they watch now, there was a high probability that they would say they either watch X-Play or Attack of the Show, and that's it. But they miss Tech TV. So Tech TV is kind of grown into what we know as Revision 3 and Twit and, you know, the Chris Perillo Show, and all these different web outlets have grown into these giant media powerhouses from all those personalities that were on Tech TV. And I had the honor of meeting a lot of these guys on the internet, because I didn't meet them in person, but I had the honor of meeting a lot of these guys, and they are quality guys, really know their stuff. And, you know, we're going to miss it. We're going to miss G4. A lot of you who hate G4 for what it's become and what it currently is, because the shows don't end to the end of 2012, we're going to miss this kind of programming on television. Now, with that said, a lot of us are shifting all of our attention span, if you will. We're shifting our viewing habits to the internet anyway. So a lot of us have cut the cord. We don't have cable TV anymore. We rely solely on internet, television, and, you know, place shifting, recorded shows, and, you know, things like Twitch TV, live streaming. YouTube is a primary source of a lot of people's entertainment. So some of us are going to miss it. It's going to be a nostalgic miss, but I don't think we're going to miss it in our day-to-day lives, because that shift is already taking place. We don't watch a lot of TV anymore. And I think the major networks know this, and they're clamoring and scrambling to try to get your eyes on what they're producing. Check it out, guys. G4 is canceling their video game programming. I don't know what exactly they're going to do after this, because the network right now is just going to run reruns of like the Ninja show. What is the Ninja show called? And, you know, of Cheaters. And I mean, the last time I flipped through the ratings, not the ratings, the directory on my television with DirecTV, and it passed by G4, I see either, you know, Cheaters or some rerun of something else that aired on another network. So it's kind of like a Spike TV Lite. That's what I think of G4 now. It's trying to be like Spike TV, but it's not quite there. So I don't know where they're going to go from this. I don't know how they're going to identify with current and even new potential viewers. Check it out, guys. Escapist Magazine has the details. G4 cancels their video game programming. Now let's talk about the ESRB. This is the Electronic Software Rating Board. I believe that's what B stands for. And ESRB came around when, like, Mortal Kombat and all these violent games were, you know, were starting to come out. And I think that was one of the first signs that gamers were starting to grow up. I think a lot of us started playing video games at a young age. So the games were simple, you know, Pac-Man and Berserk and things like that. But then they gradually begin to become more mature. more violent, you know, lots of skin and lots of adult topics. And for that kind of entertainment, for that kind of market to kind of, I don't know, sprout or show itself, there needed to be some kind of a rating system. Because if you're a parent, and some of you are, some of you aren't, you kind of want to know what you're buying your children. If it's a movie, you kind of want to know the rating of it. You know, what kind of materials in it. You know, although we want to screen everything we give our children, we don't have the time a lot of times to pretty much play through the entire game or watch the entire movie before we buy it. So we rely on these rating systems to help us along. So ESRB came along and gave us a great system, and I stand by this system today because I think it's one of the best out there. I think it's better than the Motion Picture Association of America, because they make great efforts to give you a simplified rating. They have a giant E for everyone, rated T for teen, rated MA for mature audiences. And I think a lot of parents out there are used to these simple ratings, these simple ratings right now. So what they've done now is that they've announced new digital game ratings, because up until this point, the ratings have been about box copies of games. They've been about, you know, games you go in the store and buy, you look on the back of the box, and there's a giant ESRB rating on either the front or the back. I don't know. Sometimes it varies. ESRB is now making its way towards digital games, because we talk about digital games all the time here on this podcast. We see them on Steam. We see them on indie game bundles. You know, we have all these digital games on Origin, all these digital games on Green Man Gaming, all these digital outlets. It's an emerging market. It's becoming very, very big. So naturally, ESRB needs to cover a lot of digital game titles, because some of these digital game titles don't even see a box. They're pretty much all digital. And ESRB has announced a new simple free way, I like that word free, for digital game providers to rate their games using the ESRB system. They have a nice video showing off some things. Now, there's some features in this that are independent or unique to the situation. They're not the same exact rating systems and situations that you see on the box copies. For example, they have an interactive warning. So that means that since it's a digital game, there's a high likelihood it's probably going to be multiplayer enabled. So they have an interaction warning to let you know that this game will allow you to interact with other people on the internet. Now, if you're buying something for your child, or, you know, you just want to know if the game supports talking or interacting with other people, that interactive warning will let you know. Shares info. This is probably my favorite, because this will let you know if it's going to share your email, phone number, or anything like that to a third party. Which if I see that, ooh. The next one is shares location, which I'm also not a big fan of. I don't like when games share where I'm at, because I know where I'm at. I don't want everybody else to know where I'm at all the time. So as long as I know where I'm at, everything's good, right? Right. So it's going to be some cool things in here. A very simple form for you to fill out, and you'll get your ESRB rating for your digital property. I think this is a good step in the right direction. ESRB announces new digital game ratings. Check it out, guys, over on GameStatics.com. They got the details about this particular story and the ESRB making its way to our digital game sales.
Game Chat with Bwana is recorded live before a worldwide audience every Monday night. You can participate by suggesting news stories. Just register an account in our forums at bwana.tv/forums.
All right. For our next story, we're going to talk about the PlayStation tray. Ooh, boy. Now, you guys remember a while ago, there was this guy named GeoHot. And he basically outed the PlayStation 3 and just tore it apart and just hacked it to death. And he basically exposed some encryption keys, which Sony has since patched. The MeTLDR root key basically is what it's called. And now, for our final hack, PlayStation 3's LV0 encryption keys have been released. Apparently, they've been cracked and they've been known about for quite some time. But the guys behind it were kind of sitting on them until they heard about, I think it was a Chinese company threatening to, well, not threatening, they were going to create their own custom firmware with it and begin selling it. So the guys didn't want that to happen, so they released these keys to the public. Now, what does this mean? This means that when you use this encryption key, decryption keys, I've been saying encryption all this time, decryption keys, you'll be able to, without a whole lot of effort, decrypt all the different things that Sony sends down in terms of updates to the firmware, and you'll be able to, in a nutshell, create custom ROMs and custom firmwares to do whatever you want. Kind of what happened to the PSP. Makes for home brewing, but it also allows for rampant cheating. So along with this LV0 decryption key, they also released a custom firmware which has PlayStation Network enabled. So that means that using this custom firmware, you'll be able to go online with the custom firmware and do whatever you want. Kind of messy. But there's a catch. The catch is that you have to have a device that's pretty much already hacked. This will only work on consoles that have 3.55 firmware or lower. Okay? And you won't be able to run the new stuff, the new code, unless you have some kind of a hardware solution, which is not really readily available just yet. So if you go out and buy a PS3 right now, you're not going to be able to use this, in essence. And if you patch your PS3, there's a high likelihood you're not going to be able to use this. This is for the guys who have been sitting on the 3.55 or lower firmware all this time. They'll be able to utilize this stuff to do more and more hacks. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, it's not really that big a deal for the general public in terms of being able to take advantage of this. But there are going to be a select few, and it's going to probably seem like more than what they are, that are going to take advantage of this and cheat. So you're going to see these guys, because they have a PSN-enabled custom firmware as a result of this. They'll be able to get online. They're going to use this custom firmware, and they're going to include their own cheats and hacks in games, which basically ruins it for legitimate paying customers. And I say paying customers because we pay for it. We pay for the service, and we should have a clean service. Now, these guys who pay for it and want to hack, I don't consider them paying customers. I consider them the scum of the earth. I don't like, when I say hack, I mean cheat. I hate people who get in games and cheat. You're ruining the game. Stop it. That's basically the long and short of it. There's really no other way to say it. Stop ruining the game. Some of us want to have fun. Others just want to cheat. The latter are the scum of the earth. You can quote me on that. So when you see this story, guys, don't panic. People are not going to run out and buy PS3s, you know, from Best Buy to hack them, because that's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to do. However, there's going to be a bunch of PS3s on eBay, and, you know, people already probably have, you know, a PS3 set aside that they never updated, where they can use these hacks. So the PlayStation 3, while it's been hacked, you know, I don't think it's the final hack. I don't think it's that huge deal. But Sony is definitely going to do something about it. We're going to see another round of patches. And like this article has stated, there's only so much Sony can do in this case, because the LV0 decryption keys, if you have a 3.55 or lower, you're pretty much set. These are the root keys. These are the root decryption keys. Nothing really Sony can do if you haven't updated beyond 3.55. So it's kind of a rough spot to be in. Check it out, guys, over on Eurogamer.net. They got the details about this newest hack. But we're going to see what Sony does next. We're going to see what the hackers do next. We're going to see what the Chinese, let me make sure it's a Chinese company. Yeah, Chinese hacking outfit dubbed Blue Disc CFW, playing the charge for a new release. So if they come out with something else, we're going to be watching that. Check it out, guys, over on Eurogamer.net. For our next story, we're going to talk about PSN, and it's actually good news. Because all up until this point, in the past 3 or 4 months, all we've been hearing about is Sony's dead. Sony's dying. Sony's dead and dying and dead. The PlayStation 3 is a failure. They came out with a new model, and they didn't sell billions. Oh, no, it's a failure. Oh. I don't have a PlayStation 3 anymore because Sony sucks. I stopped playing on my PS3 because Sony sucks. I moved over to the Xbox 360 because Sony sucks. Well, PSN is actually doing very well. And specifically PlayStation Plus, which a lot of you out there, I remember your comments, you really wanted this to fail. A lot of you called it Xbox Live for PlayStation, which it kind of isn't. But it is, kind of, in a way. But not in every way, but in some ways, but not. Yes. PSN, PlayStation Network, has posted the best ever revenue for the second quarter in a row, and it's thanks to PlayStation Plus. This quote states that transactional sales refer to the PlayStation Store sales through the PSN SEN wallet. Our last quarter, July through September, was our biggest on a global basis with regard to revenue. So they brought a lot in. But bottom line is profit, right? So how much did they spend on this? They didn't disclose that. But apparently it's doing very, very well. Sony is claiming 97% customer satisfaction with PlayStation Plus. So those of you who have it really like it. So I would, based on these numbers, if I were Sony and it's just on the outside looking in, I would call the PlayStation Plus sort of a success. I think it's working very well. And I think the recent barrage of free games that they thrusted upon us, I think it was around E3. It was around the E3. It was around, I think they gave us like Infamous and Infamous 2 and everything, a whole bunch of games. Everybody got PlayStation Plus then. That was a good deal. That was a really good showing by Sony to hook us up with a lot of stuff. And the fact that the Vita is going to have some cool things with PlayStation Plus, you know, really helps. And, you know, giving you beta access to a lot of games and things early is a good incentive. So Sony's doing some things right with PlayStation Plus. Let's see if they can keep it up. Let's see if they can keep it up through the holiday season. Let's see if it can withstand the barrage of the Wii U. And let's see if they can withstand the barrage of the Xbox 360, which is just killing it. Xbox is just on a tear, and it's not stopping. I mean, with the launch of Windows 8 and Windows Phone and the revamp of Xbox Live, they may even see yet another surge in Xbox 360 sales. They're not looking to slow down anytime soon. But the Wii has slowed down. PlayStation 3 has slowed down. Let's see if the PlayStation Plus can withstand the barrage of the holidays. And we'll see how that turns out. So check it out, guys. Joystick has a story. PlayStation is not all bad news. There's some good stuff going on. PlayStation Plus is actually doing very, very well.
Please support Game Chat with Bwana by turning off your ad blocking software.
Okay, we're going to move and talk about some PC gaming a little bit. Been talking about consoles and whatnot. G4 TV. Like, Bwana, I thought you were a PC gamer. You better show up and represent before I jump over there and give you a piece of pie. StarCraft 2 is getting a leveling system. This is going to be coming in the Heart of the Swarm expansion, which is slated to be released very soon. A lot of people got beta keys right now. Blizzard has announced this. And when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Is it going to make me run out and buy this game even more than what I was going to buy it initially? No, because I was planning on getting it anyway. And the leveling system is only going to be through 1 through 20. And you're going to be able to get portraits out of it. Because, you know, in the current StarCraft 2, you get portraits out of like wins and achievements. So they're going to add this leveling system, which I don't think is a bad thing. But it's also not great either. It's also not great. And the story's over here on Rock, Paper, Shotgun. You'll be able to gain levels. Let's see. Here's the quote. In Heart of the Swarm leveling system, players earn experience while playing Blizzard matchmaking modes and custom games. So if you do custom games and not just laddering, you'll get XP as well. You get XP for the race you're playing with. So there's different XP based on the race you're playing. With each unit you build or destroy. Experience is awarded at the end of the match. So people are not just going to farm XP and leave in the middle of the match. So that's cool. And will accumulate as you hit level 20. The leveling system is how you earn most portraits and decals in Heart of the Swarm. We create a multitude of new images for players to collect and display. Now, looking at this from this standpoint and now, I'll tell you, we don't really care. But when it comes out, oh my goodness, it's something about pixels, man. I don't get it. I really, maybe I need to call a scientist or a doctor. I don't know. Something about pixels. When you see somebody has a portrait that you can obtain and you don't already have, you just instantly get motivated. I gotta have the Teemo portrait. Why doth I not have it, the Teemo portrait in StarCraft 2? And why is Teemo in StarCraft 2 anyway? But I don't care. Why don't I have that portrait? So you'll ladder for 6 weeks and you'll get it. You'll be like, I got the Teemo portrait. And then you're going to have this moment of now what and why did I waste 6 weeks of my life for pixels? And then you'll repeat that process. It's something scientific and something to do with chemicals in our body. I've yet to find it out, but I am going to find this out. Yes. Yes, my brain will figure things out and I will write things down and suddenly I will have conclusions and postulations and numbers. So these are new levels. Like I said, they're going to be coming in the Heart of the Swarm. Now, if you don't know, Heart of the Swarm is going to be a brand new single player for StarCraft 2. It's going to be an entirely new single player experience. So if you enjoyed StarCraft 2, I can't remember the name of the current StarCraft 2 with the Terran. Something of what League of Justice League of America of something about Justice Wings or Hot Wings. Buffalo. Oh, Wings of Liberty. That's right. Wings of Liberty. If you played Wings of Liberty single player, you're probably going to enjoy this single player as well. Heart of the Swarm is going to be coming out very soon. I don't know how I feel about the multiplayer units thing. If you have Wings of Liberty right now, you won't be able to enjoy all the newness of Heart of the Swarm. So we'll see how that works out. Check it out, guys. Rock, Paper, Shotgun has the details. StarCraft 2 is getting a leveling system. And for our final story, we're going to talk about Square Enix. Square Enix is going to be the first publicly confirmed Unreal Engine 4 licensee. This comes by way of joystick.com. Now, we talked about this a little bit around E3 time when we were supposed to get a lot of Unreal Engine 4 details. And I was a little bit disappointed. I was expecting to see a lot more at E3 about this, but I guess, you know, you can't complain too much. The game Fortnite, I believe that's the one, is going to be the first game with the engine from Epic, if I'm not mistaken. I think they mentioned that in here. Yes, Fortnite. It's going to be the first game with it, but Square Enix is going to be the first licensee. And people are probably thinking that, what's the game? I think they mentioned it in the comments here. Last Remnant. People are thinking the Last Remnant 2 may be the first game with this, because I think the Last Remnant had the Unreal Engine with Square Enix. We're going to see how they make use of this glorious technology. And I really, really, really hope more companies license this engine, because I think it's one of the best out there. Now, other companies are building their engines from scratch. I think the Natural Selection 2 guys, which are going to be releasing in a couple days, they have their own engine. The Loadout guys, the Loadout free-to-play shooter for PC, they wrote their own engine. So a lot of companies are opting to go for their own engine. But, you know, companies like Hi-Res Studios, they really are using that Unreal Engine to death. Unreal... The Hi-Res has used it for Tribes of Sand. They've used it for Smite, and I think they used it for Global Agenda as well. I got to verify that one. I think they did, and they're probably going to use it for their next games. And I'm a big fan of Tribes of Sand, so I like the Unreal Engine. Check it out, guys. Over on joystick.com, Square Enix is going to be the first. Let's see what they come up with when they release their game. And that concludes all my stories we have for tonight. We're going to move on to our user-submitted stories, which you guys have submitted over on our forums at bwana.tv/forums.
Do you love love Game Chat? Are you looking for a way to show your appreciation? Become a Bwana.tv premium subscriber. Check out the details at Bwana.tv/donate.
Head up to our forums at Bwana.tv/forums, where you can sign up and talk about tech. Yes, for our first story, we're going to go over and talk about the Canada guy. The Canada guy. Dust514 has legs beyond PS3, says CCP. Has legs beyond the PS3. So, we've heard of these hints before, CCP. What kind of carrot are you dangling before us now? CCP has revealed that they have enough ideas to keep their new PS3 exclusive free-to-play Dust514, free-to-play first-person shooter, Dust514, going well beyond the life of Sony's current home console. As it stands, CCP has a 5-year roadmap laid out for Dust514. But outside of that, they have about 20 years worth of ideas. Now, how can you map out ideas over years that far out? Probably very, very carefully. Our plan is that we want another 10 years to be having Eve is 20 and Dust is 10 events. The whole way we're doing our development process is so that we can push out expansions on a regular basis. We're not going to ship a unit and then in 6 months it's off the shelves and people have stopped playing it. You gotta stand behind companies that do this. I mean, they're really looking ahead, and I really hope that they decide to go to the PC platform with this. If Dust514, comes to PC, that would be a good thing for everyone. For America. Check it out, guys. Play.tm. Thanks for the story, Canada guy. Windows 8 launches. PC games cower in fear. 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 Windows 8, Microsoft's latest thing, has been released. And a few of you out there are quite brave and have upgraded your main machines. You're braver than I. I have not upgraded my main machine with Windows 8. Windows 8 is redoing a lot. Microsoft is going in a totally new direction. Some things I like, some things I'm not too fond of. A lot of game developers, such as Notch and I think Valve and a bunch of people have gone on record to say that it's going to kill PC gaming. One thing that I'm happy to see that I saw that Microsoft is going to allow PEGI 18 and mature titles to be included on the store. So people will be able to download those games that way. But when you look at this Windows 8 system and how things work, it's great for normal apps. And by normal apps, I mean like non-professional apps. Taking it up to like Office and then stopping there. Once you go beyond that, like if you use Autodesk tools with AutoCAD and you go like 3ds Max and professional level 2s and Maya and even games, a lot of games, this whole Windows Store thing kind of breaks down a little bit. It's good for a majority of users. And I think Microsoft's going on they're on the right track. But as a PC gamer, we're left on the legacy screen. They have a desktop dedicated to legacy. So essentially all Windows 7 programs will be able to work on Windows 8, but you have to go to the desktop and they run in the desktop, and you switch over to the desktop, it looks just like Windows 7, but without a start menu. And that's scary. If you look at Microsoft's history, when you get shifted to legacy, you're on life support, essentially. Remember DOS? Remember when, some of you don't, but I remember when DOS was it, man. Ooh, DOS was everything. autoexec.backconfig.sys, I had the best ones on the planet. Awesome stuff with DOS. But then there came this thing called Windows 95, and then DOS got pushed to what they called legacy. Now you get a DOS window and you can still run DOS games, but you gotta jump through hoops. Then all of a sudden this thing called Windows Vista came out, and everybody was like, it was like, okay, we have this thing called compatibility mode. And then Windows 7 came out, and it just got deeper and deeper and deeper, and your games get into these compatibility modes and legacy. That's where I think a lot of, big game makers like Valve, and I'm not going to call Notch big because he's fairly new to the scene, but Valve comes on and says that Linux is a better platform than Windows 8, Microsoft needs to take note, because I see a large majority of PC gamers out there have used or are planning to use Steam. So, but when you think about it from Microsoft's perspective, they really don't have a lot to lose. Because they're putting their eggs in the Xbox Live market. And for all we know, the next iteration of the Xbox 360 could be some sort of an appliance PC. Microsoft could be going that route for all we know. I mean, that's where Steam is going. Steam is going to build their own box and put their own UI all over it. Believe it or not, guys, that is the future. As much as PC gamers like to clamor on to their desktop shortcuts and their registry files and their config files, the future is these appliance machines. And people are like, no, you will not pry it from my code, dead hand. I will be running Linux until I cannot type anymore. Well, that may be true, but when you're done, somebody else is probably going to be using these appliance PCs. That's the future. But the interesting part about this is that I want to see where Microsoft's going to go next after the Xbox 360, because I think that's going to answer a lot of questions about where we're going with this PC gaming thing with the Windows 8. Because right now it looks pretty bad. Current state of affairs, it looks pretty bad, I gotta admit. I have no desire to upgrade my main machine to Windows 8 because I am afraid of what the experience may be, because I play a lot of games here. I use some applications that may not fit the paradigm, so I'll just happily use Windows 8 on a laptop machine. Check it out, guys. Thanks for the story. I didn't even read the article. I was just talking about it. Thanks for the story, Canada guy. Nicholas Fun Stuff. Skyrim. Premium Edition planned for certain European territories where the sun is wrong. Look at all that swag. They don't have a hat, though. I got a Firefall hat. Let's do it like this. It's on my head. Founders pack for the win. Skyrim's got some swag coming. So if you don't have Skyrim, or you already have Skyrim and you're just an extreme fanboy, you got to have all of this. The Premium Edition was revealed earlier today on Amazon Germany, with Bethesda telling Joystick that the special bundle is not coming to the States. Aww. Oh, man. The pack does not appear to contain any of the previous released downloadable content. That's trollish. You're going to give me like a solid gold t-shirt with Skyrim logos, but you're not going to give me the DLC. That is trollish. Let's see if European guys jump on this Premium Edition. You got to wonder why they're going for that market with this. Maybe the sales numbers that they have that we don't have are telling the tale. Thanks for the story, Nicholas. Fun stuff. Anonymous warns Zynga will burn. Yes, Anonymous, because, you know, it's not summer, so we got to talk about Anonymous warns Zynga will burn. They're targeting Zynga because the social game maker is outsourcing jobs to India. Okay. I know you guys behind Anonymous are very smart guys. But you probably got a long list of companies if that is your reason. And I'm quite sure that can't be the only reason, because if that were the case, you would probably go after everyone. Because there are very few semi-successful companies out there that have not, there are very few that have not outsourced to either India, China, or somewhere else. Cheap labor is the way companies are actually maintaining their quote-unquote way of operating. Now, you can agree with the way they operate or not, but that's the hard facts. That's how they're getting around, you know, not going under. The They have threatened retribution against the social game maker to take place on November 5th. I guess they had to find something to do on the 5th of November. That Guy Fawkes. I guess they had to find something to do. Like, we choose you, Zynga, because you... I hate what Zynga did. I talked about this on Bwana.org radio. They fired people during the Apple event. That was very, very trollish. That just really sucked. Really, really sucked. What they did. It was really, really... If you haven't heard, go listen to Bwana.org radio. Radio.bwana.org. I talk about it there. It was a really, really just wrong way of doing things. And I think that's what Anonymous this might be fueling their rage here. So, thanks for the story. Escapist Magazine has the details. Thank you, Nicholas. Fun stuff. Saram says that Square Enix officially starts testing Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. So, Square Enix has announced that today being the 29th, will be the scheduled grand finale for the MMO Final Fantasy XIV. The company is seeking testers to start of A Realm Reborn. So, say goodbye to the current abomination. I'm harsh on it because I gave it one of the most favorable reviews on the internet. And that was like, if you go to my YouTube review of Final Fantasy XIV, it's probably the most polite and upbeat D+ C- review you'll ever see on the internet. I was very optimistic. I'm just like, guys, all right, well, they've recognized their mistakes. They're gonna rewrite the whole game. We'll see. Let's see. Square Enix has stated that all character data from the current version will be saved for the last time on October 31st, following by all worlds coming down at midnight, and November 11th, 2012. And then all the character data is going to be transferred to the new realm. So they're going to be looking for people. So if you want to apply, click on this link to apply for the alpha. And they're going to pretty much go through this testing phase for a little bit. And based on the screenshots and the changes I've read about in the patch notes, the game is going in the right direction. But will it be enough to maintain its status as a subscription-based MMO? Because the list of subscription-based MMOs it's a very small list. EVE Online, World of Warcraft, Terra. Secret World. What else? Everything else is going free to play or some variant thereof. Rift. I mean, the list is very, very small. But we're gonna be watching this one very closely. Thanks for the stories, Roms. Tech Difference says Steam for Linux beta now open for applicants. Speaking of Gaben, the Valve Linux Steam beta application is up. I thought this was older, but I guess the application's up now. I remember there was a survey, but they've opened up the gates for the Steam for Linux beta this month. And it's now taking applicants to use Steam. And you sign up with your Steam accounts by clicking on this link. They're specifically asking, now this is very important, they're specifically asking for experienced Linux users for this beta. So if you guys think Linux is cool and you used Ubuntu for 2 weeks and you point and clicked around for a few minutes, you're probably not qualified. Okay. They probably want some dedicated Linux users on this. As this last sentence has said, newer Linux users are being asked to wait. So if you're just curious about how it looks, don't apply. I'm not going to apply. And I consider myself a pretty good Linux user, but I'm not going to apply because I haven't used Linux in years. It's been a couple years since I've used Linux seriously, but I do know it very well. But Joystick says it's open now. Thanks for story, Technifin. Emmerdale says Torchlight 2 devs want to add Minecraft style building and resource management. I think this was Matt who posted this or stated this. Yes, Matt Schaefer says that he would like to introduce a greater sense of permanence to the game because what they have right now with the ARPG genre is kind of getting stale. I agree with Matt. This formula of this ARPG is cool and everything, but it needs another something. So he states in this interview, in this article, that he wants to add some sort of state of permanence. So naturally, he brought up Minecraft. I think the guys over there really like Minecraft. Some sense of permanence, where you can build things and gather materials or something. Some sense of sustainability or something to be proud of. Don't know exactly how that would turn out or how in the world they would do it. But given that Torchlight 2 is going to have an open architecture, the mod tools are not out yet, but they will be out soon. You know, the game is not dead yet by any means. I still play it today. You know, somebody may be able to do something like this. Wink, wink. Stretch, stretch, kappa, kappa. I don't know. But the mod tools may not be as flexible as we're looking at them through our rosy colored glasses. To be able to do something like this. Personally, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I'm going to be honest. I don't think putting building and resources aspects in an ARPG would be the next step. I like where Grim Dawn is going with the MMO aspect. I like that idea more than I like this one. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, PC Gamer has the article. Torchlight 2 dev wants to add Minecraft-style building and resource management to the game. Okay, MechWarrior Online Open Beta starts Monday for real this time. While we've been playing Hawken, that other mech game, MechWarrior Online is going to be going into beta today. I think it is open beta now. I saw a couple streams. It was supposed to originally kick off October 16th, but then it was delayed. So now it's actually going to be for real, for real. So if you want a different type of shooter, this is a good game, guys. You should definitely check it out. MechWarrior Online. It brings back memories. It feels just like the old Mech Warriors did. And if you played the old Mech Warriors back in the day, you're going to love this. It really gives you that mech feel. And it's hard to explain the idea of driving a mech and shooting people in mechs. I remember when Mech Warrior first came out, man, people were... You know, we were walking out of our dorm rooms with like tears in our eyes, and our eyes were red, bloodshot red from staying up all night playing it. Because it was just so much fun. So much fun. So yeah, MechWarrior Online. This is going to be, it actually is right now in open beta. So you can go sign up, get your feet wet, or your mechanical feet wet, and shoot some people in mech suits. Thanks for the story, Imrandil. Next story comes from Christian Nomel. Assassin's Creed 3 is Ubisoft's most pre-ordered. Assassin's Creed 3, and by the way, guys, the speaking of that game, Hawkins beta has been extended through tomorrow, so you got a whole day to play, a whole another day to play, so you can stick around Game Chat 1 a little bit longer. Assassin's Creed 3 is Ubisoft's most pre-ordered. People clearly want very badly to play Assassin's Creed, so it has broke all the records. This is a game that I'm looking forward to. First Assassin's Creed that I'm going to buy. I was gifted Assassin's Creed 2 by Mr. Christian Nomel. But this is the first one that I'm going to buy. And pre-orders are 100% higher than last year. I think that's actually a pretty good number. So Ubisoft's enjoying these numbers. The game comes out soon. Very soon. I know the PC version is not until late November, but the console versions will be coming out soon. I'm not sure about the exact date because I got a whole month for my copy. But check it out. Gamefront. You can buy Assassin's Creed art for charity. Yes. To celebrate the upcoming launch of Assassin's Creed 3, one of the most anticipated video games of the year. I like how they qualified that. We have teamed up with some of the most prolific. I thought that was an E at first. I was going to say prolific contemporary artists and rock the vote. So to bring the blah, 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 American. So you basically buy the art and all proceeds will go directly to rock the vote. So just some ways to buy some art, some Assassin's Creed 3 art if you're looking into hooking up your walls with some Assassin's Creed stuff and you want to contribute to Rock the Vote. This is your place to go. Gamefront has the article. Thanks, Mr. Christian Nomel. All right, we're gonna do a quick refresh. And we got one from Super Snail. PS3 firmware 4.3 causes Monster Hunter Portable 3D HD to freeze. Monster Hunter 3D, oh, I'm sorry, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, the remastered version, if you get version 4.3, according to this article, Sony has confirmed that the latest firmware makes the version freeze at several different points in the game, and they're already working on a new firmware. I heard about this new firmware coming out, and I think I know. Okay, now this makes sense. They said they were going to fix some game issues. This must be the game that they're going to fix. So this should be out very soon. I'm thinking by even before tomorrow, it may even be out. But typically, they'd like to do their updates on Tuesdays. But this is probably going to go out pretty soon. So, yeah, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd HD version freezes with the current firmware. So you guys should probably wait on a fix before playing that. Thanks for the story. And that concludes all of our stories. And guess what time it is, y'all? Guess what time? Guess what time it is? It's title time, man. Title time is when you guys come up with snazzy titles. Because snazzy titles are where it's at. You guys come up with snazzy titles and you post them in the chat. We vote on the best titles. And you guys just fight for those things called gaming accolades. And if you win, you win. Go. Go. Delay today than usual. I blame society. So we're gonna wait a while for the titles to roll in. Here we go. G4 -2 equals G2. StarCraft 2, Justice League of Avengers, Terran Hot Wings. Rated H for HAX. Alert, security breach at Station 3. All Sony personnel report to the firmware bay. Sony asks, please stop the hacks. Windows 8 PC gaming. Warning, this digital game shares your credit card information. ESRB now thinks outside the box. Square is unreeling, people are hacking, and Linux is steaming. Your son is wrong. Square Enix now has 4 sides. We require more level ups. Time for World of StarCraft 2. Now available with the HAX Station 3. That freaking American native is an assassin. AC3, just take my money now, thanks. HAX can't stop the PSN sales. Oh wait. Untitled.avi. Okay. Let's copy some of these. Okay. Got 3 titles. See if this actually comes through. H for HAX. Alright, guys. I forgot the command. It's poll. Create. 1, 2, 3. Poll. Start. Okay. You guys know the routine. Vote on your favorite titles. I got 3 titles here. Number 1, Windows 8 PC gaming. Number 2, ESRB now thinks outside the box. And number 3, Rated H for HAX. Rated H for HAX, vote by typing the number, only the number in the chat. Yes. Right now. Type the number, knowing the number. Give it a few more seconds because the stream is having some delay tonight. I apologize. I do realize the stream is delayed. I'll let it go a little bit longer. Okay, so poll stop. Poll results say the winner is them results. Once more with feeling. Okay, the winner is 3. Congratulations to Sarams. You are the winner of Title Time, episode 73. Game Chat 1, episode 3 is going to be called Rated H for HAX. Rated 8.